What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the DST show. We are live in a room somewhere where we're going over the May 23rd installment of Monday Night Raw in whatever setting they are when they say the specific statistical number of the audience, when it's obvious fabricated, when they're tarpeting over the seats saying that it's sold out. So let's just keep it a buck. Raw was live. It was on television. People are going over the Jim Carrey trials over pro wrestling, even though there's many other stuff to talk about. The major drama is, of course, still with the Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair absence. After Asuka won over the Red Mist over a roll-up over Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch also wanted to get included over to the match, and it ends up with them fighting for Becky Lynch getting included. So they're trying to make it a three-way triple threat match at the pay-per-view at Hell in a Cell. We are like 2 weeks away from that, by the way. We also had, I think, to open it in the first hour, Lashley versus Omos. Instead of building this up and hot potatoing the wins to actually build over Omos, because now we know that Omos isn't a guy that we can't consistently take seriously. If he's only facing Lashley every other freaking week, bro, that's not how you build up a monster. And the match was okay for steel cage standpoints when they don't even implement the cage that much into it. They just either build over to them trying to escape from Morley Lashley. Omos nearly opening the door. Hurt Lock, he kept trying to fight out of it. Then there was a massive power slam outside of the cage. It was crazy. Lashley, instead of Omos taking the door with the opening he had, or at least literally coming out the opening that was literally given to him, Lashley just slowly just popped out. Just immediately came out of the steel cage debris and walked in to win the match. Thankfully, it didn't end in no DQ, because it's a cage match and they did this spot before with Lesnar and Roman, so anything else, I don't care. There's also Owens using his diabetes scream on commentary while a match was going on. What else was happening? They were also doing Ezekiel versus with Chad Gable, with, of course, Owens on commentary, just chuggling around, just screaming over on commentary, like, that's Elias! That's Elias! That's obviously Elias. The match was going smoothly, drop kick, lariat, just the basic maneuvers, not really a gimmick, but at least the storyline's a bit over, shockingly. Even though the gimmick of Ezekiel being Elias is played for laughs, it seems like the fans are actually a bit entertained. Even though they're foiling over Gable. So I'm just saying, it's somewhere, but it's not enough. Even though we know they're gonna do Ezekiel and Owens on the pay-per-view. And we also had, of course, segments involving not really that much of a segment, but they did Jimmy Uso and Matt Riddle, even though how many times Riddle and one and a half of the Usos literally come out opening over a promo, Orton saying that they have a hard time physically over the past couple of weeks, especially from last week, dealing with RK Bro and dealing with the Usos, and then it just breaks into a massive brawl, including the Street Profits, and it was like the first 20-something minutes, bro, it was already boring enough that we didn't even spill into any violence in the first 20 minutes. Or before that. It went boring. Sami Zayn was part of the segment during the Usos interruption over the promo. And then we go into just Jimmy Uso. They don't even do a 6-man. Of course they transition over to a 6-man, just like any other match. And then it comes, I think, with the Usos winning over a haluva kick. It just looked dull. It was repetitive, and it's the same way Raw has been trying to transition match after match after match. Whenever something happens like a DQ finish or a roll-up, or if the heel doesn't win fairly, like, it just... Bro, I don't want to watch that. That's a waste of whatever else could have been on TV with the roster you have. Somebody else could have had TV with just a roll-up finish, and you could have just done a rematch the next week to build up for screen time. That makes no sense. And whoever keeps writing the show, and just feel like just segment it like this. Like, you guys are not GM mode. You guys are a TV show. You're able to make some stuff change up to make sure watching next week or right now is going to be more interesting. I'm just saying. Then Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley face off against AJ Styles and Liv Morgan in a mixed tag team match. And the match was going okay. Even though Damian Priest was getting his ass kicked for a majority of it. Like, forearms, hip tosses. He was getting downed in so many lock holds. As soon as Liv Morgan was coming up for the equalizer with Rhea Ripley over Damian Priest, coming blindsiding Styles with a distraction. Rhea Ripley was going to use that little pay dirt thing that she assists the ropes with. Edge holds the pants of Rhea Ripley. That's sexual assault. I'm just saying, you can't do that. Touching a woman, I think. And it comes into Rhea Ripley using the Riptide to pick up the victory. Then Finn Balor comes out of nowhere. And it didn't even include to help. Ending with a spear and just a post-match assault. So Finn Balor returned. Austin Theory is the new United States champion. And Balor just came over there because he has beef with Damian Priest, because Priest turned heel because of him. But there's not really any story between that, except he's babyface. Styles has more of an impact with Priest and Edge because they've been actually feuding. But now Finn Balor's here. I don't care. The King's Court, Jerry the King Lawler is on interview with... by the way, Nikki ASH lost in like 6 minutes to Alexa Bliss over at Twisted Bliss, recalling a bit of their feuds, with Alexa winning most of them. With, I forgot who was in her corner. And she just got squashed in like 6 minutes. Oh yeah, she got in her corner with Doudrop. Literally, her stomach looking like a medicine ball over a leather jacket. It is disgusting. I don't know how Vince could still allow like a woman like that to just be on TV when she obviously has no look. She just looks like a nice mother. They could have at least have her dressed like WandaVision or some shit, or like the old... Like the modern hard-working mother that has a rage fit. Like, I'd rather watch that than just see her dressed up in wrestling gear and the tights just pop out. It looks dumb. It looks dumb. It looks uncomfortable. No child wants an action figure of that. Whenever, like, kids know that annoying Karen, drop a Karen. Her name is Piper Nivens. Make her keep that name. You turn her into some type of annoying mother, and you got yourself a gimmick. You got yourself a heel. Who doesn't want to beat up a Karen? Jerry King Lawler in King's Court was also with Veer. Veer had some stuff to say about the Mysterios. And immediately the Mysterios come back after the interview when Veer was attempting to assault Jerry the King Lawler. And they came up with him eating... multiple... that was so sloppy of a segment. Ray just botching top rope moves. And a 619. It was so heartbreaking to see that much ugliness in one segment. And Veer didn't even come up, eating most of the Mysterio's moves. And he just walked off. So it just made Veer just feel like, oh, he can't handle one of them 2-on-1. Any of them 2-on-1. And it just made Veer look less... He's not imposing, bro. He has a weak-ass physique. He has a big-ass beard. He's just a walking threat about to happen. I was about to say it, but I just stopped it right there. Just a storyline of him just beating up the Mysterios and him not showing... Like, the Good Khali's imposing. He can't speak the language. He's He can literally assault you and destroy your skull. They sold the vice grip. They sold his imposing. Like, how are you gonna stop a 7-foot man that can crush a watermelon, and make Rey Mysterio just spit out blood like a recent New York mixtape? Like, you can't let him do that, bro. Veer just sucks, bro. There's nothing beside it. He looks like Shanky, but Shanky's lankier. Like, these guys just come over with this little Marvel Falcon Redskin symbol on their head. It looks dumb. That whole segment sucked, bro. Then we had Miz and Cody Rhodes. How long? I think they've wrestled each other twice since he came back. And just the omnipotent, like, storyline with Rollins, like, oh, he wrestled Rhodes. Nobody else he needs to interact with. These are going to be the only select people that Cody can interact with while coming back in the company. When it's been since 2014, I think. No, 2016. And nobody else he can interact with. Just Rollins and Miz. Why so linear when you have such a vast roster? Characters can't interact with any other characters in the same setting. The writers obviously can't do this, bro. I'm just saying. Over the distraction over Rollins dressing dressing up and trying to prance around. Miz takes advantage, figure four spot, nearly a tap out before Miz grabs the rope. And it ends in a GQ. And we know they're going to have the Hell in the Cell match anyway. The match was perfectly fine for the standards. If you think that I'm going to change the channel and hear that Cody Rhodes is facing Miz on 2022, and both of these guys are still in the mid-card on Monday Night Raw. What? Roman Reigns didn't even make a segmented appearance about who his next champion is, who his next opponent's going to be, who's going to be the biggest threat. Now, I understand this Hell in the Cell match is probably going to elevate Cody, so we can have a legitimate threat to Roman or something, because there's nobody on the current roster has shown to be a consistent overall hot topic guy to put on the main event. Except probably Cody, because he has pretty good matches, and he's the only guy that is given any optimism, except Lashley and Omos, because they're racist. And then we had Asuka in a rematch against Becky Lynch from last week. This time, if Becky wins, she goes over to the main event. She faces off against in a triple threat match with Belair and Asuka. So we had two of the same matches in the main event, but the stipulation's different. So, yeah. She tried to mock Asuka. Asuka's segments are awful. Don't get me wrong, she's a very good in-ring talent, but that's it. You're good in-ring talent. You're disposable, Asuka. No disrespect, bro. Just spamming Japanese. Just feeling like silly Americans don't understand. Just being like, moto, like it's dumb. Like some random person off the street that watched Naruto once would understand what you're saying, and it's retarded. It comes out to you sounding like a jobber, Asuka. There's no sentiments to how she says it. There's never a different tone. She's just a crazy Japanese girl that steals Tajiri's green mist. And now I gotta take her seriously in the headline of the second Raw. Now the major thing was trying to avoid the armbar from Asuka. Bianca Belair was watching over commentary before there was a bit of aggression between her and Lynch. Obviously, it comes to Bianca trying to cost Lynch the match, avoiding a roundhouse kick from Asuka, but it accidentally hits Belair. And then, out of the shock of Asuka, Becky got the win. So now Becky's... this is so bland. This is so bland, bro. What a show. What a show that's Monday Night Raw. Obviously, I'm not anticipated to watch the pay-per-view. I'll be off doing trips and talking about way other stuff like that disappointing Game 4 between the Heat and Celtics, where the Heat just forgot how to shoot for 40 minutes. And then I gotta go and forget where Raw forgot to make a good show. But they've been doing that for the past 10 years. Other than that, that's the review for tonight. I hope you guys had an enjoyable weekend. That's it from the DST show. Thanks for watching.